Hi and welcome back to my low-carb abode. I'm Ludmilla and today we'll be making keto zucchini bread. I make this bread in my mini loaf pan. It's super moist, chewy, and it's just right for using up all those zucchinis. So first things first, we have to grease our pan. I'm using a strapped mini loaf pan. It's a set of 4 mini loaf pans strapped together and it is made of non-stick aluminized steel. And it works great for making mini bread loaves like I'm doing today. Next, I have to grate the zucchini, of course. I need 2.5 cups of grated zucchini, which is about 2 small zucchinis or 1 large zucchini. I love incorporating zucchini in my low-carb cooking. I use them for making brownies and I even make tortillas with zucchini. They have a mild flavor and few carbs, and they provide the bread with moisture and are otherwise hardly noticeable. So once I got my 2.5 cups of zucchini shredded, I'm gonna place them in a colander and sprinkle them with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just gonna set them aside in the sink for about 10 minutes. And this will help some of that moisture to come out. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare my batter. I need 5 large eggs and a 1/2 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt. It's actually the yogurt that makes this bread so different from other keto zucchini breads you may have tried. That's why it's not cakey or dry, but nice and moist. If you're out of yogurt, you could also try using sour cream because the texture is very similar, but with sour cream too, make sure to use full fat. Then I'm just adding a 1/4 cup of melted butter and 1/2 cup of Swerve Brown, which is a low-carb brown sugar substitute. If you don't have Swerve Brown, you could also use erythritol, but I do like that vanilla and molasses flavor of Swerve Brown. Lastly, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now you can go ahead and just whisk together your wet ingredients. I'm just gonna keep whisking until my mixture looks nice and smooth. And now we can put this aside and whisk together our dry ingredients. Because this is a low-carb bread, we're not using regular wheat flour, and instead I'm using 3 cups of blanched almond flour. I'm also adding 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk powder and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And to spice it up a little bit, I'm adding about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. So now just combine this well again with the whisk, and then we can go ahead and add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. So I'm just stirring up the batter now until it's nice and smooth, and we're already very close to being done with preparing our batter. So now it's time to bring back that shredded zucchini that we set aside, and we have to remove that excess liquid from the zucchini. And the way I do that is by simply taking a handful of zucchini and then press my hands together to get some of that liquid out. And I'm just repeating that until I have all that zucchini squeezed. It's okay if your zucchini still has some moisture left, as long as most of the liquid is removed. Psyllium husk powder that we added is actually great at absorbing liquid, so it can handle that bit of liquid from the zucchini. So now I just have to stir in the zucchini and then we can go ahead and add our toppings. Now you could add some nuts like pecans or sliced almonds or chopped walnuts to your bread. Today I'm just going to add sugar-free chocolate chips. And I'm just stirring in my milk chocolate chips. I'm using Bake Believe, which I'm sweetened with stevia and erythritol. Of course, you could also use another brand like Lily's if you want to use chocolate chips. You could also try just chopping up some sugar-free chocolate. And if you don't have sugar-free chocolate where you live, you can just use very dark chocolate. So now I'm already done preparing the mixture. And I'm spooning the batter in my mini loaf pan. Also use this recipe to make a regular sized zucchini bread would have some mixture left over, which you could use to make maybe some zucchini muffins with. So I'm just using a spoon here to smooth out the tops a bit. And then lastly, I'm going to add just a few chocolate chips on top, just because I like the way it looks like. And the bread is ready for baking. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake it for about 45 minutes until the bread looks golden brown. If you make a regular sized loaf, you want to bake it for about 10 minutes longer than that. And here are our baked mini loaves. I'm quite happy with how they have turned out. They have a nice golden brown top and they have risen beautifully. I'm using a butter knife to loosen the edges a bit, and that makes it much easier to remove the bread from the pan. Just carefully flipping it over and hoping for the best. Nice. I did let the bread cool down about 10 or 15 minutes before I tried removing it from the pan. That makes it much easier and reduces the risk of me getting burned. By the way, this bread freezes really well, so you can place it in a Ziploc bag and store it in the freezer until you're ready to enjoy it. And these mini loaves make great gifts. Just look at how beautiful and adorable they look like. With all the zucchini we have growing in the garden right now, I'm actually going to make a bunch of the zucchini bread and freeze it so we can enjoy some in the winter. So now that I'm slicing it, you can see the texture on the inside. It has big pores, and I just love those shreds of green in it. It very much looks like a regular zucchini bread made with wheat flour. This bread feels soft, yet quite sturdy. It definitely could hold its share of jam and butter, but it tastes also great just by itself. It's sweet and has some nice chew to it, and it could convince any child to eat their vegetables. Enjoy! As always, I will add the link to the full printable recipe in the description below. I hope you like this recipe, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. I will talk to you soon. Bye!